and welcome to Light for Life. If you are returning to our channel, thank you. We value and appreciate you. Our aim is to shine a bright light on your inner splendor and assist to connect you to your magnificence via what we intend to be enlightened sharing, potentially educational and hopefully entertaining information, as well as encouragement for new perspectives. If you are new here, you are most welcome. We do hope that you will find our content highly beneficial and enjoyable. I am Liss. I'm a Science of Mind practitioner and a teacher of various healing modalities applicable to all aspects of the self and this life.
And I am Lori. I am a holistic wellness researcher and educator. Welcome to Connections with Liss and Lori. We use the space to offer our perspective regarding multiple different topics that we certainly hope you find inspiring. Welcome to Bifurcation Part 2. If you have not seen Part 1, where we discussed vibration and energy and duality and dualism, dimensions, densities, and how bifurcation is embodiment, and clearing up some misconceptions regarding bifurcation, it would be really helpful for you if you press pause on this one, go back to the first one, start there. If this one will make a whole lot more sense. So today, I thought it would be great if we could start out with really looking at the importance of how each and every one of us has a beautiful light inside, right? And if I had not been willing to go ahead and let my love light shine, I would not have found Melissa. If Melissa wasn't shining her flashlight in the dark, she would not have found me. We would not have found a lot of the beautiful people that have come across our path. And what's important to understand about shining our light is when we shine our light and we partner, and 2 makes 4, 4 makes 8, 8 makes 16, we start to build an energetic momentum and a community of sorts. Even though we might not even be on the same continent, we are still connected, and we can still absolutely have an effect on our families, our communities, our cities, our towns, our countries, our world, our shared world. And I personally feel we have to start right here. We have to start right here. And then that can branch out and really start to make an impact. So before I start talking about the snowball effect and I start running away like a freight train, Melissa, my love, hello, hello, hello.
Hi, Lori.
How are you today?
I'm fantastic, and I agree with everything you just said.
Thank you.
You know, when it's so hard always to find a beginning point, but when what we're currently experiencing as this wave of awakening and ascension energies really started getting some traction, probably around the early 80s all the way to the early 2000s. The focus was very much still on 3D consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Our personal 3D lives, navigating the chaos of that with this understanding of we have the power to create our own lives. But it was still very much me, myself, and I overcoming my story, doing my healing, dealing with my shadow work, my wounding. It was a little narcissistic, if we're honest, in that the focus was very, very personal.
Yeah.
And so things like the law of attraction were so huge because we were starting to understand, oh my gosh, I have all this power. And I can do these incredible things for myself in my own life. And we were experimenting with that and hopefully having fun with it and getting good at it. and starting to understand that, yes, in fact, the truth in all its power, electrically, magnetically, divinely, energetically, rests in the heart, rests in using the power of the mind on purpose. But I think the point that we've come to now in our collective evolution is that all of that was setting the stage for this moment now. All of that was trying to teach us that we don't just have this power to make sure that we can have, I don't know, the car we want in our garage. We have this power in order to bring this incredible new frequency down to the earth for the collective, embody it and ground it here together with one another. And so for me, that's where we're going now, is more of this unity consciousness, which is 5D consciousness, where what's best for me is best for you, where the collective benefit benefits us all. And using that power of the law of attraction and our ability to create our own lives, to actually create the future for the world. How exciting is that?
It's very exciting. And I really, really resonate to your description, collective evolution. I was actually thinking about that this morning as we were preparing to talk about this, and really looking at how exciting it can be to co-create with that energy. It's to me, it's just electric, that space where we can create, I always talk about this, the space where we can really begin to create what it is that we want. And we, meaning all of we, not just we, my family, we, my friends, it's so much greater than probably, like you said, that we thought of in the 70s or the 80s or even the 90s, when we were actually a little self-absorbed.
Yeah. And that was a necessary phase. The butterfly doesn't look back on its time as a caterpillar with shame. The butterfly doesn't say, oh, I was so disgusting and I crawled around on the ground. It's like, no, it was a necessary part of becoming the butterfly, that you had to be a caterpillar for a while. And then the chrysalis stage was involved. And energetically speaking, we've all gone through that. So no, there's no shame for where we began. It doesn't make where we are now, quote unquote, better. It's just where we are now, this energetic moment in time. And definitely it's about all of us. It's about humanity. And so many people are looking at awful events and developments in the world right now, and simultaneously understanding that we have all these new and high and wonderful frequencies. And it seems to be more of a contrast than ever when you look at it from a 3D perspective. But in reality, all these awful things that are happening, and they are awful, make no mistake, but all these awful things that are happening are simultaneously achieving two things for us. First of all, it's a profound clearing. All these really strong, old, dense 3D energies of thousands of years old, sometimes, conflicts and hatreds and revenge, are coming up for air. They're coming to light. And their hideousness, their pointlessness, the repeating of this pattern is becoming so clear to people that what you have to understand is that, as awful as it is part of the ascension. Mm-hmm. Because as much as we're seeing hatred and division and all these terrible things playing out, what it's doing for the collective is showing us just how wrong that is. Mm-hmm. How tragic that is. So many people are saying, how in 2024 are we still doing this to each other? How are we still going to war? What is up with that? Have we not progressed past this? And the point is, yes, we have. Exactly. Yes, we have. So it's so exciting. We have to care. We have to have empathy for the tragedy that's playing out needlessly, and hopefully not enter into that energy, because then we're helping to create more of it. But while we're caring and doing and empathizing, it's about not losing that perspective that it is, in fact, part of the ascension. It is, in fact, bringing us together. I heard Bashar talking about this just the other day, and I was like, oh, yes, I'm not the only one picking this up. Yay. because that is very much what is trying to break through to our consciousness, is the fact that actually, no, what looks more polarized than ever is an attempt of the PowerPoint to show us what the truth actually is. Because all dualities are a trinity in truth. And that trinity at the end of the day is just one thing.
Oh, that is really interesting. All duality is a trinity. Can
Well,
you
if you go back to what I was saying in the previous episode, when I was explaining duality and dualism.
Yes.
Duality is literally just our 3D experience of there being two separate and opposite things.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas dualism and polarity understand that there is only one thing that exists on a spectrum, and at the ends of that spectrum, we can be the most extremely polarized from one another. But nonetheless, we're just at the extreme poles of one thing. So it's about understanding for ourselves that that extreme pole and this extreme pole are not two separate things. What is the one thing that they are the end of the spectrum of? And that is that trinity, the two poles and the neutral middle of one thing, the 3-in-1. And it's when we come to the middle, when we come to that 0 point, when we come to the trinity point, the point of power, whatever you want to call it, that is where we undo both experiences of either extreme. So there is no more false light and dark. There is no more good and evil. There is no more right and wrong. What is that neutral middle that undoes them both? I think we have to move beyond this 3D again idea of either or and start wrapping our minds around the broader perspective of and also.
And also, I love that.
Yeah.
And it brings
because
in,
that is the highest truth.
Yeah, absolutely. And it brings in the unity that you were talking about before too, where it isn't so much about individuals and nations and borders and, and means all, and is unifying all of these things that have become so separate and divided and further divided and classified into further divisions. It's interesting to me to watch society continually find new ways to label itself, and it just, in my opinion, it just keeps reducing us smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, when this is really the time for expansion. So maybe it's just another dual perspective, but to get people to really see how unlimited they are in their power, when we can look at and in a unified way, and to start creating that. I'm really curious to see where a lot of this goes, because there's so many variables involved. There's so many.
I mean, we can't pretend to have all the answers, right? There are some seriously complicated questions in the collective consciousness at the moment. And it's going to take the best and the brightest of all of us to come up with how this works for everyone. But some fundamental basics are true. And that is that far more unites us than could ever divide us. We have so much more in common than will ever be different with one another. The age-old wisdom of live and let live, allow one another our differences in that spirit of tolerance, but understanding that most separation and most division is false.
Yes.
That it's based on false psychological constructs that have no actual truth. They have no infinity. They have no eternity. They're constructs we've created for a 3D reality to work. And we don't have to live within those confines anymore. And in so many ways, we can come together.
Well, if we remember that there was no division in the first place, and we remember that we already are together. Many years ago, somebody gave me a beautiful card that said, "We are all one in spirit, regardless of our form." And there happened to be a dolphin on the card. And it's just something that I've had running in a theme in the back of my head all the time, ever since I got this card, because it can be difficult to remember that we are all one in spirit, regardless of our form. Man, woman, pink, blue, doesn't matter. We truly are all one in spirit, but being in this 3D reality can make it challenging to remember that oneness, where we can really start to create that oneness here. Yeah. And what does that look like for our world? What does that look like for our societies?
Yeah, it's exciting. That much I can say. It's exciting. And I think as a species, I can't imagine anything that would be more challenging. You know, we think we have dealt with, and we have indeed, really challenging things more in the dark end of the spectrum, more in the split apart and tragic and painful and awful end of the spectrum. But what greater challenges lie for us in the light side of the spectrum, in actually creating more unity, in creating more harmony, in creating more of the light for us all. Yes. Because the truth is, everything that I want for myself, I sincerely want for you as well. How much peace can I ever truly have if I don't want that same peace for everyone? Right. My peace isn't going to last. My peace is going to be affected because others don't share in the same peace. So it's impossible for me to want something for myself and not simultaneously want it for you as well. And the more we become aware of that consciousness and the more we start operating from that consciousness, the faster I think we will ascend as a collective planet, as a species, as the human race.
I couldn't agree more. My healing is your healing. Your healing is my healing. Especially when we remember we are all one in spirit anyway. If we're healing, it's all shared. It's all one collective healing, one collective peace, one collective neutrality. And
you know what's so beautiful and exciting about this moment, Lori, is that it's all already done.
Yeah.
It's all already complete. Energetically, it's a fait accompli. The healing is done. That end goal is accomplished. It's for us to realize that now and to bring it down here, to start fleshing that out, to literally claim it with the power that we have to do so, because it's a done deal. It's already happened energetically. That's the beauty of it. And that's where we find that magic. That's where we find that, oh, wow, is the day that we actually expand our perspective enough to perceive that.
I'm sorry, but it makes me want to giggle and dance simultaneously. It literally is so exciting, and it's so uplifting to know that this is something that we actually can experience if we allow.
Yeah,
and if
exactly,
in my opinion, if we do things like this, where we bring to people's awareness, hey, this thing that you're feeling, this is this. Let's go. Yeah. Let's do this.
Exactly. Embody more of this light. Raise your vibration. Let's go see what fantastic things we can do with it. And let's figure it out as we're going. You know, we don't have to have all the answers before we move. Recognize that the energy is available. So let's go. Let's grab it and let's go create this thing together as like a real-time experiment.
Yeah.
Because when have we ever been conscious before to be able to do this with the kind of energetic support that the planet is receiving now? I don't think ever. Really? So what a time to be alive.
Yeah. I agree. I can't speak for, has this ever happened before? No idea. I don't remember. That's a lot about the past I don't remember. But I agree. It is a really exciting time to be alive. Yes, there are some uncomfortable events unfolding. However, it's kind of like pulling skeletons out of your closet. If you don't pull them out of the closet and into the light for healing, you can't advance. Unfortunately, some of these uncomfortable things do have to be brought to light. And light is healing. When we can see the truth and understand what's been hiding and bring it to the light for healing, again, it's everybody's healing and everybody gets to share in that. and everybody gets to share in the celebration of ushering in the new. It's a very
Until we bring
exciting
the
time.
light to the darkness, Lori, then most of the time we're not consciously aware of it, but we are creating from wounding.
Yeah.
And nothing that we create from wounding is going to have the necessary strength at its core and its foundation to actually achieve something that is in the truth.
Yeah.
So we have to bring the light of awareness to those dark things, to be able to recognize consciously the wounding that we've been creating from. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're all subconsciously seeking. We just want to feel safe. We are here ultimately to understand freedom.
Yes.
That's what we're all doing. We're here to understand freedom. What is freedom? And we can never be truly free if we don't understand that we're creating from wounding in an attempt to feel safe. So everything I push away from me, everything I fear, everything I convince myself I hate, these things are coming from a wound that doesn't feel safe to be free. So let's just shine the light of awareness on that. Be brave enough to acknowledge, you know what, I've been afraid. That's what it is. I've been afraid. And I've been afraid that somehow giving you your freedom will take away mine. And the day that we can acknowledge that, that's when I think, in a very large extent, we will all be free to start truly creating for the first time. I think the dawn of that day will actually be the beginning of our infantitude. Is that a word? It's like humanity will finally have woken up out of that sleep of unconsciousness and be born as this fresh new little baby that's got to now start figuring out, okay, what is life all about? Like, actually, it wasn't the 9 months in the womb, you know? I actually have the light of awareness now, and now I get to live. That's how I see it.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you for connecting with Light for Life. If you appreciate reminders, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you can receive those notifications. If you would like to work with one of us, you can find our contact information in the About section of this channel.
Yes, thank you for connecting with Light for Life. Please share your insights, your questions, and your comments with us in the comment section below. We value your feedback. And we really hope that we will see you for our next episode. We upload one every Thursday. Until then, bye-bye and be joyful.
Until we connect again, we send you love and light.